Hey everyone, welcome to the first live that I have had since switching this channel over to true crime. Welcome to the Fatal Files with Elle. We're going to be going over a statement that was put out by the mother of the adopted child, Natalia Grace. We're going to go ahead and roll the intro. I actually had to push this video back because there's a video that there's a live stream happening right now about a story that I've covered. Marvin McCray. He has been in a coma, and word is that he possibly passed away. So there's another creator that was live discussing this. So I pushed the stream back to kind of watch that and really find out what was happening. We're going to go ahead and roll the intro, give YouTube time to send out notifications, and I'm going to read the statement that this lady put out after the docuseries aired. All right, you guys, welcome back. So, as you guys know, I uploaded a video the other day, the curious case of Natalia Grace Barnett. And this is the little girl that was adopted from the Ukraine. And when she was adopted by the Barnett family. They had three boys. And a few months after getting Natalia, they discovered several things. According to the family, they discovered, several things. Michael and his wife, they had been married for several years at this point. They had a nice living. They had, decent money. He had a nice house. He had cars, and they adopted Natalia. And what's weird about this case, in the very beginning, when you hear about it, is that when the adoption agency reached out to them, it was an agency they had never talked to. They had not contacted this agency to adopt. It was an agency in Florida. Michael talks about how it was in a really sketchy neighborhood, that he was even like, you know, are we sure we're going to the right place? They adopted Natalia because they were basically told you have 24 hours to decide if you want to adopt her. If not, she's going into foster care. Now, Natalia has a specific type of dwarfism. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to attempt to. There's very few people in the world that have this type of dwarfism, but they did bring her home to Indiana, and was hoping that everything would work out. But according to Michael, they noticed signs like she had pubic hair. She allegedly had a period that she was hiding from them. She started threatening to kill them and all these crazy things. They contacted the adoption agency to see if possibly they could find out, where she exactly came from, who was the family that had her in America before them. Because while she was originally from the Ukraine, she was actually with another American family before they got her. And this American family returned her essentially. They paid the $23,000 to adopt her, the legal fees and everything. And about less than a year later, they was bringing her back and trying to get someone else to adopt her, right? So it was a closed adoption, so they could not get any information about the previous family. A lot of weird things allegedly happened, according to the dad, Michael. He said that he would wake up in the middle of the night and she would be at the foot of their bed with knives, or he would wake up to noises and it would be her in her room, just standing there looking crazy, saying, I'm waiting for you to go to sleep. And it was really just weird stuff. There was a documentary that was done because in 2019, the parents were arrested and charged with multiple counts of child neglect because they ended up having Natalia's age changed based off a few different things, the pubic hair. They had bone tests done on her through their doctor, and the bone test did come back that she was older, but I have not heard of not one bone test coming back to say that she was 22. Only like 14 was like the oldest one, I believe. But somehow, through a Mariana Supreme Court, they were able to get her age changed to 22 years old. They put her in an apartment, and she stayed in one apartment for close to a year. But she got several reports. She ended up having to go to another apartment, And the family left her. The family moved to Canada because their son Jacob got into a college in Canada, so they moved. Sooner or later, she would befriend a lady who had other children, and she told this lady that she was 22 at first, but then ended up admitting that she was not 22, that she was in fact like 8 at this point, and that her parents had like dumped her. She was actually 9 at this point when she found them. That her family had her age changed, and they instructed her to tell everybody that she was older, and that really she was just a child. So this lady brought her to her home and basically became like her mom, and that family became like her family. Um, I do too. All apologies. I do believe that she is older than she is, but I don't think she was that much older. Like maybe she was like 13. I don't know. Like maybe she was like 16. I don't know. Because I will tell you, when you put the pictures up of Natalia beside a girl with the same type of dwarfism that was 6 at that point, it looks so different. Like that little girl, Teresa, that little girl later on, she did an interview, for the documentary, and she said that she would have to guess that Natalia was really like 18 years old at that point. But I don't think she was. I don't know, maybe like 16. But really, there was a big difference in how they looked. The other girl, Therese, I'm gonna call her Therese. She baby face. She was much smaller and and even though they don't grow, you know, she was still like twice the size. Natalia was like twice the size of Teresa. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Um, we'll just call her Teresa for the sake of this video. Um, so let me look for a picture. I actually should have got a picture up because honestly, when you look at them two together, like I said, I mean, you're literally like, oh wow, that's a huge difference. This girl definitely does look like a kid, while Natalia looks like older. Natalia had like adult teeth. The other little girl had baby teeth, and there was just a big difference in the way they looked. I hope I hadn't deleted it. I did delete a bunch of stuff on my phone due to the fact that my storage is full. Okay, there it is. Um, so anyways, I'm very confused as well. I do think Natalia is probably older, but I don't think she was that age. Also, one of the things that Natalia said when she went on Dr. Phil is that she was very scared. She did not want to come out of her apartment, but because she had school, she did. So I'm like, I know my kid at 8, 9 years old, if they were so scared they didn't want to come out of their apartment, they wouldn't have, not even to go to school, because it wouldn't register to them the real need to. And how did she go to a school that was for adults? Like, what kind of classes did she take? How did she do with the classes? And that's the thing, is the birth mom was found. There was a DNA test done to prove that she is in fact the birth mom. And she said that date is correct. But from what a lot of people have said, is that you in the Ukraine, this is actually like prevalent. Is not only do the parents lie when they put kids up for adoption, like they'll lie about ages. And somebody come up with a theory that I actually thought made a lot of sense. Okay. Somebody in the comment section of my video said, I have a theory about this. And I'm going to take it a step further just because. Okay. So this person's theory was maybe this was in fact a scam. Maybe it was set up by Natalia, her mom, and the adoption agency. The first person just said the adoption agency and Natalia. But I'm going to go a step further and say maybe her mom. And this is just a theory. Okay. What if they, they have Natalia and they're like, we can adopt you out, charge this big fee of $25,000. It was 23, 25, a lot, there's a lot of families out there looking to adopt. And there's a lot of, little people families looking to adopt as well because they have a lot of trouble carrying children. A lot of little people can't have kids or they won't even try to have kids, if they can. So like several little people choose to adopt and some little people want to adopt a little person. So they're like, this is just a theory. We will put you up for adoption, collect the money. After a week, 2 weeks, a month, start making their life miserable, a living hell, do all these crazy things. They'll return you. We'll split the money, and then we'll do it again. And you'll get some of the money, we'll get some of the money, and we just do this for a while until we make a bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like something like that, maybe. That's what somebody in my comment section, that was their theory, is that um, this was like a scam for profit. Now maybe her mom was in on it, where it was like, you know what, I'll lie as well about her age and how old she really is. You know what I'm saying? But they went through an adoption agency, didn't they? So the adoption agency that reached out to Michael and his wife, he had never talked to them. Michael and his wife had actually been was in the process of adopting a little girl named Gilberta from Haiti, and they were working with an adoption agency in Haiti, and they had already received pictures of Gilberta and several things, and then the earthquake happened, and Haiti shut down all adoptions outside of the United States. I mean, outside of Haiti. So if you were in the United States, you couldn't adopt in Haiti. So when they were waiting for everything to get situated, that agency reached out to them. And Michael says, looking back, it's weird because they had never had any contact with this agency. And they're like, yeah, we know you from the foundation that y'all run, the organization that y'all have. That's how we heard about you guys. So we have a little girl here. Her name is Natalia. She does have a form of dwarfism. You got 24 hours to decide. So they said, well, we'll come to Indiana. They get there. They're shown two pictures. Her Ukrainian birth certificate saying that she was born September 4th, 2003. And they said, you got 24 hours, because if not, she's going back into foster care. So they said, okay. Also, one thing that was talked about is how like home checks should be done before an adoption agency will go through with an adoption. Background checks should be done. Several things should have been done that was not done through this agency. This agency did not do what they were supposed to do. They were set up in like a shopping mall, but they did not go to the house to do the home study. And if they would have known that there were DV, that it was a DV situation between. Have you watched the YouTuber reporting live for myself? I don't. No, I haven't seen that. Um, I'll have to look into that. So there's a lot of things here that I question. Like I said, I don't think she was like grown, but I don't think she was 6 when they got her either. I definitely think she was a little bit older than that, because the way that she spoke about things, she spoke like she was older. Okay, so here is Therese, Therese, and here is Natalia. I mean, she's 6. Her mom was on the documentary, and her mom said when Natalia walked in, she was like, that girl's not 6. I mean, look how she has the baby face still, and she definitely doesn't. Can you guys hear the music? Yeah, well, maybe they weren't really an agency at all. I don't know. There's so many questions here. Like, because what's crazy is other couples were contacted before the Barnetts. There was 2 other couples that appeared on the docu-series who said we were contacted as well, but not by that adoption agency. They were contacted by Little People of America Foundation. They were contacted by the Little People of America Foundation. And they were emailing other little people that would come to their annual events. So that's how they got those names. Other little people that come to their events, they're like, let's call them, see if they want her. Call them. So it's really weird that at one point you got Little People of America, Little People of America reaching out to little people families saying, "Hey, we got a girl. Do you want to adopt her?" And then all of a sudden, you have this adoption agency. I'm wondering if it was either one of them. I'm wondering if it was Little People of America or an adoption agency. If it was just some scam. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's happening here. Either way, a lot of accusations were made in the documentary. Michael definitely blamed everything on his ex-wife. They did end up getting a divorce. So they were arrested. They were charged with multiple counts of child neglect. uh, Before Michael's trial was set to begin, like three of the charges were dropped against him. He still went to trial for the other, so four charges were dropped. He still went to trial for the other four, and he was found not guilty. Now, in one of the interviews of one of the members of the jury, she said, "We didn't know a lot of these things. We didn't know that the mother had been found, that she verified the age, and that that Natalia really was that old. Like, we didn't know that. There was a lot of things that we didn't know. Had we known, he would have been found guilty." And she said everybody in that room really felt like Michael was guilty of something, but maybe not necessarily that. And they were given strict orders to go by this, and this, and that's what they had to go by. So he got away with it. 3 weeks before the adopted mother's case was to go to trial, she was cleared of all charges. Um, yeah, they can never tell everything in court, which is irritating to me. Like, tell it all, give all the information, so they can really make like a smart decision here. But she did speak out afterwards, and we're going to go over what she had to say. And there's actually a few things that she has posted on her Facebook, but this is the one that I want to read right now. I mean, you can't lie. Does this look like the same? I mean, they don't look the same age. I mean, look at their arm length versus like her arm length versus her arm length. Her hand, Natalia's hands versus her hands. I mean, she really looks twice her age at least. You know what I'm saying? She really looked like twice her age. I don't know. I mean, all right. So let's read. And this was on TikTok. No, that's not it. Okay, so there's a TikTok account. Um, it's Randy Bobandy, and she uploaded this. And I think she has a lot of stuff about the Barnetts. All right, so let me make this where you guys can see it. I don't know. Will you guys be able to see this? I hope so.
For anyone who missed the
Wait, this isn't the right one. Hold on. Yeah, because it was Ashley, the one that I found. Hold on. Let me go back to it. Hold on. No, where's the one from Ashley? Is that her? Yes, this is her. Okay. Hold on, guys. I found it. Give me a second to get back to it. I apologize. And I do know some of the things that they were complaining about that she was doing seems so normal to me, like farting on her brother in the car and then filming her. What were you doing, Natalia? Farting. And when he asked you to stop, did you keep on? Yes. Doesn't everybody do that to their sibling? Like, come on. And you have to keep in mind, like, foster care, all these things that this girl went through. So, I mean, come on. Where's the statement? Okay, here it is. Okay. Let's see. All right. This is as big as I can get it, you guys. So the documentary is called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. All right. So it says, first of all, I would like to profusely apologize to any of my friends and family, to any of my friends and family circle who had to watch along with me last night as my ex-husband and the investigation Discovery Channel released sexually graphic images of me involved in sex acts during my marriage or divorce and afterwards. I did not release these photos or images to anyone, and I'm seeking an attorney to discuss what occurred. If you know what? Let me just send the pictures because this is way too hard to read. I was hoping I could just play the TikTok, but these are so freaking hard to read. Making my life difficult. Come on now. All right, here it is. All right. First of all, I would like to profusely apologize to any of my friends and family who had to watch along with me last night as my ex husband and the Investigation Discovery Channel released sexually graphic images of me involved in sex acts during my marriage, divorce, and afterwards. I did not release those photos or images to anyone, and I'm seeking an attorney to discuss what occurred. If you know one, please send them my way. I acknowledged earlier that I will be candid with all of you about my sex life when this began to occur. I don't know what her sex life really has to do with anything. Huh? I don't know. I was in shock that this was happening and still am because the season finale of this series seems to be condemning me for my sex life, character assassinating me, and betraying me as some kind of hoochie woman or hoe. Investigation Discovery seems to not care about my personal privacy as a woman or about the truth. Sex requires consent. And the idea that the world was forced to have, okay, uh, trigger warning, please have your earbuds in if you're around kids. I'm so sorry. Um, Sex requires consent, and the idea that the world was forced to have phone sex with me due to the series is just the most abhorrent situation I could ever imagine myself being in. I did not consent to the release of the information. Everyone is calling me manipulative here, but the gross manipulation of people's public opinion on me going on against me by multiple parties is actually what is happening. It is highly important to me that I address and stop several things. Of the utmost importance is the spread of this complete nonsense to other people, including my son and dear friends. Yes, she should have. You see, I want to say I read somewhere that her lawyer advised her not to appear in it, but I don't know. Jacob Barnett is my son. He is an incredible human being. He is an incredible human being and soul who was very obvious, very oblivious, and on camera caught up in a public witch hunt against me for salacious statements or details that could be used to hurt his own immediate family. Jacob was lied to in the production of the series by the producer as to the nature of the interview, which he felt might include football, which is a hobby of his. Jacob did visit and occasionally live with his father while on a football tour. The setup of the dark basement scene by the production company is theatrical, as is much of this series. Watch and judge for yourself. Did the crew not have any lighting to film with suddenly? That's my question there. I can only assume this is to perpetuate the idea that adults with autism are either awkward because he was highly disturbed by the nature of the questions in this interview, or live in their parents' basements. That stereotype is hurtful and untrue. Yeah, Jacob is the insanely smart one, which not gonna lie, the way they made it out was that he regressed so much due to the Natalia situation and the divorce and the arrest and all of that. Because he was sad, like I now live in my dad's basement. But according to her, this is not true. She says, my son lives in Canada. He has a very nice apartment there and is independent. He has a doctorate in theatrical physics, which he earned, which is very hard. He is a kind person with a high level of integrity, which is why he walked off the set during filming of the show. Jacob and I are unable to discuss some questions he has recently. Jacob and I were unable to discuss some of the questions that he had recently about his upbringing and memories with Natalia, and also about my divorce. I look forward to the day when I can personally address those things with Jacob one on one without a gag order prohibiting me from discussing any personal medical details or making any derogatory statements about my ex or about Natalia. Unfortunately, there are various people with mental illness diagnoses in place that I was unable to address his concerns when he called me before trial because I was at that time under an order. I obeyed the order of the court, and frankly, it affected my son and my relationship. I'm not currently under that order and would like to discuss these issues and other issues and questions my son might have, as I'm sure he needs answers to a lot of the things for his peace of mind. When Jacob contacted me about my divorce during the trial, he was at a crucial young adult stage to trying to understand what happened. And it saddens me I was legally unable to answer his questions at the time. Also, as was obviously explained in the documentary, my personal communication with everyone in my life for the last 10 years has been privacy compromised and hacked and exploited by various people. This was and still is a gross and egregious invasion of my privacy. I'm confident my son, who I love very dearly and I'm extremely proud of, that we will talk again someday soon. As for the documentary trying to guilt my son into believing he was somehow a bad person or participated in totally made up scenarios against his sister, and Jacob having questions and memories, no, I did not use my children to abuse Natalia, if that is the claim. It is a sick claim that I believe originated from the following. Mike was claiming I'd abused Natalia in hopes he could send a jury after me rather than himself. This is this is hold on, her face is over this part. This is something to him in the film as he is awaiting for the verdict. Natalia denied the abuse of being punched by me in a police interview, which was recorded for a deposition scene, and apparently tried to allege the boys were involved in abusing her too. That is also untrue. The boys did not abuse Natalia. Did Jacob pee in his sister's bed? Apparently so. He was a kid. According to his memory, he seem that this might be valid. However, I would like to point out that I can't be sure, as it appears the crew caused him significant duress during this film and forced certain testimonies to fit their needs. What I can say is he was a child at this time that this supposedly occurred with a child's mind. And he is definitely a man now for at least having a decency and accountability to try to address the allegation. I'm proud of Jacob for who you are as a human being. Did I say something at the time of the peeing incident that made that occur? I cannot say for sure that I did not. If I did, it was along the lines of asking Natalia if she would like it if other people peed in her bed, as she was doing it on a very regular basis to my children. I admit that I was looking for empathy in this person and did not find it often in many scenarios. The kids were in our home with this individual. I believe miscommunication between what I was trying to figure out from Natalia and what Jacob likely heard and what Jacob heard are likely to have occurred as my son is very literal. And I accept full responsibility for that and would like to apologize right now to Jacob if he is reading for the anything he may have had to, if he is reading this for anything he may have had to go through in his childhood and especially now from it. Should he have ever had to go through the level of pain, guilt, and humiliation that just happened in this film? Now, about this finale, the fact that the two stories of punching, Mike's story and Natalia's story, widely differ explains that they are not true allegations against me. I understand the stress people are under in this case, but making untrue allegations against people should stop, and the investigation discovery channel should cease and desist from this type of continuance of any of these ideas. Yeah, she said, yep, she did say my children when Natalia was supposed to be her child as well. Um, so now you, and I'm not done, that's not all of it, but now you really have to ask yourself, so did she encourage Natalia to pee on the bed, or did she say something like, how would you like it if somebody peed in your bed? And maybe he took that as like, oh, well, because kids with autism can be literal. My son is very literal. Now, if I said something like that in front of my son, hey, how would you like it if somebody did this to you? I don't think he would go do it. Um, my son is more literal in the fact that you say, when he was younger, if you would say, oh, it's raining cats and dogs outside, he would be shocked and run outside to look. But if you say, how would you like it if somebody did this to you? I don't think he would go do it. And her peeing everywhere could be a sign of trauma that she endured. A lot of things that I did here in this docuseries, hiding the knives. Well, if anybody was in fact abusing her, that would make sense for why she was hiding knives in her room. If just from being in an orphanage, maybe she suffered assault in some way, so she felt better having a knife under her bed. I don't know, but I feel like a lot of these things could be explained just from her being a child in the system and apparently going from house to house and orphanage to orphanage, or Oprah, like I said on my thing. Y'all, my thumbnail said Oprah or child or adult. No, Oprah or scammer. That's what it said for several days, and I just noticed it today. I absolutely think she made Natalia feel like she wasn't a part of the family and was an outcast. Well, I do too, because all these videos that I'm seeing of her recording Natalia. Natalia, what did you do? I lied. Why did you lie, Natalia? I don't know. Like, why were you recording your child every time she did something wrong? Yeah, she could have fetal alcohol syndrome. Wetting the bed is huge with kids with fetal alcohol. I didn't know that. Yeah, we don't know what is really real. Holding a knife in her parents' room is weird. You know what could explain that, though? Is if she got up scared and grabbed a knife, but then went to tell mommy and daddy, like, hey, I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very scary. I mean, if I woke up and one of my children were in my room with a knife, I don't think my first thought would be is that they're here to kill me or hurt me. I would be like, what happened? Like, why do you have that knife? I wouldn't necessarily think that they're there to do it to me, but definitely sounds like she had severe childhood ACE. Um, let's continue. Mike's dramatic punching scene, for which he claims there is a video of, I can say 1,000% confidence will never surface because the public allegation of me doing that scene to Natalia is honestly appalling from any lens. It is a gross misrepresentation of me as a person and a mother. Further, it's unsubstantiated and untrue. That said, I am not a perfect mother. I do not believe anyone is. I would like to be the first to admit I have had situations as a parent that have been trying and required actual parenting and discipline, as we all have. I did put Natalia in timeout, for example. It was not for an entire night. Lord, I gotta go back to this. Let me get it from here. It was not for an entire night. As alleged, I'm thankful I took video of what was occurring because I knew that the people involved could make false allegations against anyone against anyone, frankly, and against me due to the disorder that had been diagnosed with at the time. For example, the film, Mike alleges I had Natalia in timeout all night and all day long. That is not true. If you watch the video, I asked Natalia how long she's been in timeout, and her own answer is 2 minutes. You can also observe what type of voice I'm using with Natalia. This should help you determine for yourself if my interactions with her were abusive or out of control. I do not believe this is real evidence of actual footage, or the actual footage shows abuse. It shows parental discipline. In this actual footage, no beatings are happening. Um, I haven't set up memberships yet. I need to, but I keep forgetting, and I have to make the little icons for it, and I just haven't had time to do that, you guys, yet. But I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna make the icons for it, and then I'll set it up. All right, let's see. I'm trying to get back to it on here. Secondly, Fred Gill, I feel the utmost responsibility to offer what I can in defense of the nature of the relationship I have with Fred Gill and the allegations that have been put in place by this insane documentary style series. These stem from the monitoring and public release of 10 years plus of every single private message I ever sent on Facebook Messenger, which I used on my phone. I did that because international calling was easier and I preferred that way. The messaging app alone allowed me to preserve my own phone records. Also, thank God I did that. I have reviewed the messages in which there is very serious and horrible allegations that I tried to hook up Natalia with Fred for sex. That allegation stops right here, right now. Fred is an honorable person and distinguished author who has worked very hard for the rights of other human beings on this planet. I'm not going to sit back quietly and watch his career also be derailed by this insanity or false allegations. I don't know if you guys can really see it, but I'm gonna have to make it little so I can actually see it without that big arrow on it. Sorry, guys. Um, Fred and I did have a conversation about a book he wrote, in which to this day I highly recommend. It's a very good biography. We are both authors. This is natural conversation for us to have as we both have written biographies. After reading his book, I commended him for it and his work. I offered during the reading of the novel for us all to go out one night as a family. I mentioned the nature of where I am proposing we all go, and would it be and it would be and it would include Jacob, myself, and Natalia, and we, which is my immediate family. The venue I propose we go to is Cracker Barrel. The nature of this night out is to discuss the book, and I also inform him that I think some candid conversation he started in the book about living with dwarfism were really important, and that is what I would like and that is what I would like to do at this meeting. Now, I don't know about you, but if you ever go meet a famous author, in this case it's Fred Gill, to discuss their highly appreciated novel at Cracker Barrel with your family, the likelihood of ending up in a prostitution style situation, which is what this film is actually alleging, is not only unlikely but ridiculous. I think that idea that anyone assumed I would take my entire family to the Cracker Barrel to force a revered author to sleep with Natalia when there is zero mention of sex here is quite insulting, disgusting, and insane. That said, much later after my divorce, I will say that Fred and I did have a conversation between me and him regarding sex. It was flirty, It was fun. It was on the phone, not in person. That is true. The sex talk I had with Fred is somewhat embarrassing, as all of this is. But since it's public knowledge now, this occurred, you can read it for yourself. That talk was between my own self and Fred. What I will say is Fred is playful and Fred is funny as a human being. And I appreciate the shining moment of fun comedy relief the moment brought to me remembering Fred in the film. Fred is in fact a ladies' man. He's a country music star figure. He's a published author of serious work, and he's a philanthropist. I don't care what anyone says. If Brad Gill and I got freaky on a phone call one night, I'm proud to know him and to have those experiences with him. It was a fun time in my memory, to be completely honest. Fred is, in fact, a ladies' man, and that might be the only true statement so far in all of the sex and character aspects of this series. I am deeply and profoundly sorry to have to address this. Jeez, back up. All right. I am deeply and profoundly sorry I have to address these allegations, but I will not allow the defamation to spread to these other people by this film crew. Thank you. Now, I'm going to go to her actual Facebook because she actually removed this. Okay. So this was up on Facebook and then she took it down. So I had to get it from TikTok, and then TikTok was just like up, down, because it was so long. So let me go to Facebook because there's other posts that I do want to address on our Facebook. Uh, Anybody else's internet going super slow today? Yes, I did watch one part of the behavioral panel, but I did not finish it. Um, but they was picking up on things as well. Well, I'm like, why is her name not coming up? Because I didn't even put the right name. How do your fingers do that? How do your fingers just not even like type what you're trying to type, right? Okay. My internet is like crazy. Okay. So here is her Facebook account. I'm actually shocked she's not like private. Um, so she posted this on June 8th. This is still what we have to say, heart. Forget what you know, Jacob Barnett. But this is TED Talk back when he was younger. So I don't think this has anything to do with anything really. Um, she posted this on June 5th. Thank you. I appreciate someone covering this. I would add evidence has been looked through thoroughly by Indiana, even at the Supreme Court level, and the charges against me were dismissed. I would like to thank my attorney for his tireless efforts, like a sleep. She defended me and she won. I would also add that any allegations of abuse that occurred in the documentary were alleged by the same party in the court case and charges against me were still dismissed because in the court of law the truth exists. In the media, salacious information frankly sells. Please consider your source of information when judging me. While I was a regular wife and mother who went through a divorce and who moved on from it, I did not abuse Natalia. So this one says she defends her parenting and calls out men hitting on her after photos show her in the curious case of um, Natalia Barnett, because after that docu-series ran, she was inundated with messages from men because of those photos. Thank you, Cinemaholic, for clearing this scene up. So this is an article that probably says he's in Canada. Jacob Barnett was just a child when his parents, Michael, and see, I kept calling her Kristen, but then I heard Michael call her Kristine. But then I thought I heard him call her Kristen. Anyways, Michael and Natalia's adopted mother decided to adopt Natalia, 6-year-old from Ukraine. However, shortly after she ended their lives, okay, we're not going to go over who Jacob is. Where is he now? Okay. Eventually, Natalia's neighbors in Lafayette complained about the incident. We know that. Um, Unfortunately, Jacob could not attend his father's trial because he was in Canada pursuing a doctorate. In fact, reports mention that he still resides in Canada and is enrolled as a student at the. I'm not going to say where he's at. Nonetheless, Jacob maintains a close relationship with his parents, but he mentioned that he has not been in contact with Natalia for years. With him working hard for a successful career, we wish him the best for the future. Okay, so here's a photo of him at school. So one thing that they definitely did lie on was him living in his father's basement. That's like false information. Here he is at school. He lives in Canada. He has an apartment. Yeah, I don't know. Like I felt like there was definitely like after seeing this, I'm like, wait, what? He lives in Canada. He has an apartment. He's doing great. They literally like made it. He even said like I live in my like things were just so tough, and I live in my dad's basement now. I was like, oh my god, that's terrible. This dude was literally could have been anything that he wanted to be. Super smart, genius, could have been anything. And now, like due to the trauma of his life, he's like regressed and he's in his dad's basement. Like, oh my god, it's not even true. Like, what the heck? It really makes me. He did say he hasn't lived with his dad long. Could it be online school? No, he lives on campus. He lives in Canada. Well, he doesn't live on campus. He lives in Canada and has an apartment. So what the mom said is during like a football tour, he lived with his dad for a short period just to do like this, go to this football tour or something. I don't know. Maybe when he was out at school or something or another. So he did live with his dad. But I know me personally, I got the impression based off what they said, even he said that everything was just so difficult um, that he couldn't handle it, and he now resides in his dad's basement. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude, completely regressed." Like that, like I'm assuming they had him say that they fed him the lines to say, you know. So I mean, they definitely painted the picture of he regressed. It was too much, and he lives in his dad's basement now. When in reality, that's not. He had a doctorate. He's still going to college. He has his own apartment. He's doing fine. You know, either way, did the mom and dad divorce? And they did. Um, yeah, that is according to the mom. I mean, this article, they say that they talked to him and he is in Canada. He resides in Canada and is enrolled as a student at this school in Ontario. So I'd have to imagine if he's enrolled in Canada. And he did miss out on his father's trial. I remember the part where Michael FaceTimed him to tell him that, is not guilty. So, but he did mention that he has not been in contact with Natalia for years. With him working hard for a successful career, we wish him the best. So it seems like they spoke to him the way that they have worded this. Um, it says here, nevertheless, Jacob maintains a close relationship with his parents. And I think she did say, so I think they talked, but she just could not answer questions, which caused issues. Either way, to portray it like, you were like, you're super smart and you are on the road to like doing something great and now you're living in your dad's basement. I don't know. I feel like that was definitely like a little shady. If they did, that's definitely what I took from it. Even in my video, I said he regressed due to like the trauma of his life because that is definitely the way they made it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to her Facebook account for a minute and then I'm going to end this one out because we've almost been an hour. How long is this one? All right, here's another one. May 31st. I did go a bit quiet during this real time documentary from just complete shock. Remember, I did not participate, and I'm watching this with the rest of you guys. When people are done with these allegations against me, I will respond. Also, anyone who knows me or knows my sons will already know what that response will be. If you are texting me out of nowhere with friend requests, no. Here's a breakdown of how I need to respond to each of you. I know you may have seen compromising photos of me. No, I will not date you. We are not moving to Boca. This one is for one viewer in particular who will recognize himself. If ID is trying to make me a Kardashian, okay, fine. I'll also own that one too. But I'm not open to dating people who are watching these series. Do not try to pick me up. Do not try to phone me. Do not stop by. It's not going to happen. Unless, of course, you're George, Joe, or Elon. Then okay, as previously discussed. The volume of male interest that has suddenly appeared is overwhelming. But the bottom line is, and listen to this one, investigation discovery, photos of me in sexually compromising positions from private conversations should have consent to be shared. I do think they need to be, I think they need to have consent. Wouldn't that be like revenge porn? I did not consent to sharing these, and I do not appreciate my family and friends being exposed to my private sex life. Honestly, I cannot describe my feelings about what has happened here, even and the level of wrong that is. I'm in regards to that, I will own my private life. What I have to say further is I have had sex. Anyone here who hasn't, go ahead and judge me. We all got here from having sex. I came from a long line of sex having women, and so did you. We are human beings, and I'm not ashamed of my private life. I'm horrified about the way it is being revealed. I'm currently being harassed as well, but I'm not ashamed. I get how it sells documentary series, but this is going way too far as everything in this series. Other friend requests, just PM me. I'm not cold accepting requests. Media requests, same as two. Further statement as of today. Benjamin Pearson, I love you. Thank you. I look forward to the truth being made public, even if this page is where you probably have to come for it. I will tell the whole truth of it, and I will own what I need to own. And this is all from my sex life to what kind of mom I am to how I initially, from 10 years ago to now, am handling all of this. Thank you. So I'm curious to see what she's got to say. I mean, how? I don't know. You know, people are found not guilty and charges are dropped so many times that I'm shocked. Casey Anthony, for one, shocked. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Johnny Depp had to pay Amber Heard any money, shocked. So just because they got off, it doesn't necessarily mean anything to me. But still, at the end of the day, I can't say I don't believe Natalia was six when they got her. That's my personal belief. I did hear about Vaughn, and I considered doing a live stream. I really want to get more information, and I don't even want to do a live stream to announce it or to say that it's happened, but about kind of like the what if. I don't know. I might wait till tomorrow just to see if I can get like confirmation, and because I don't want a repeat of what happened before. People were, saying that he passed away, and then it not be the facts. Which what I will tell you is when I go live about it, I'm not going to say that it's facts. I'm going to say this is what's being said. Um, at the end of the day, I'm not going to not report on Vaughn if something like that does in fact come out, just because I'm not going to let people bully me into not finishing something that I started, something that I care a lot about. I listened to Veda stream earlier, and while a lot of things happened, and this is aside from the Natalia Grace story, this is about a totally completely different topic. Um, I don't agree with like some of the ways that that stream went. Okay, uh, there was things that you know said that I just felt like now's not the time to go in that direction. Marvin's father, Marvin Sr., did call in, and he explained why they feel they had that confirmation, that he has spoke to two coroners and one medical examiner and a detective that all verified to him that yes, Marvin did pass away on May 7th. Um, So I will go live about it, but I just don't know when, you know, because I don't know when. Maybe tomorrow, if not tonight. And like I said, when I do go live, it won't be, oh, Marvin passed away. 100% we know. It might just be, Marvin's dad has been told this or something along those lines. I don't know. Anyways, you guys let me your thoughts in the comment section below about Miss Barnett. How, her response to this. I will say I don't agree with the photos of her being released. In my opinion, that should classify as revenge porn. They were never given permission to put those photos out there. She has children. Now the whole world has seen her, in a way that she never intended for them to see her. And I think that is not okay. I think Natalia was older than she alleged, but I don't think she was an adult. Um, Too many ways that I've seen her respond to things that would not make sense for a child so young. But you guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your opinion. If you think she was in fact 6, let me know in the comment section. If you think she was 12, 15, if she, or what would be the reasoning behind lying, say for her mom. You guys leave me your thoughts. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. And I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, thumbs up. Goodbye, guys.